What is good, guys? What is good? We have to talk about Kyler Murray and the Arizona Cardinals. We have to talk about Kyler Murray and the Arizona Cardinals, more specifically Kyler Murray. And, I was driving home from work, and I'm just sitting there thinking about teams, and my nephew called me. We started talking football, and for whatever reason, it just popped into my mind. I was like, Kyler Murray, Atlanta Falcons. I have no idea why I just thought that. I was like, Kyler Murray, Atlanta Falcons. Whether a good idea, bad idea, I have no idea. But I just thought of that. And, if you were to have been around like a while ago, like, what was it, like 4 months ago, like 3 or 4 months ago, I talked about Kyler Murray, and talked about Kyler Murray and how I thought he's a good player. I just didn't think it worked out. I didn't know if something would work out with another coach or anything. I kind of felt that he just kind of is what he is at this point in his career. But then I got thinking, man. I was like, you know what? I was like, Kyler's 28. Kyler's 28, and I just think there's more there. And just the way me thinking that kind of goes against what I believe, because I'm kind of a patience guy in the NFL. Now, here's the thing with the NFL. Me saying that, you can only have so much patience with a QB. You can only have so much patience. You got a lot of rotating players, a lot of players coming in and out. You're trying to decide who to re-sign. A Super Bowl window. You're trying to win a championship. That's the ultimate goal. You can't spend a ton of time on these quarterbacks. But there's just certain quarterbacks in certain situations where I'm just kind of like, I don't know. Like, how much of it is coaching? How much of it is attitude? And here's the thing with Kyler Murray. We all know, right? Kyler kind of has some attitude problems. That's been pretty apparent. Like, we've heard players talk about him. We've heard ex-players talk about him. That's kind of his thing. But we've also heard players talk. We've also had ex-players talk about him positively. So you kind of have like this like fine line, like 50-50. It's like, are there a little bit of character issues? Maybe there's not. Maybe people are just talking. Kind of in the middle with where I stand with Kyler Murray on that. If you know, right? Like, we all talk about the COD. New COD came out. We're like, oh, well, Kyler's about to play bad, or Kyler's not about to be healthy this season. And Kyler's dealt with injuries. I get that. I understand that Kyler has dealt with injuries. If you're not out on the football field, it's extremely hard to succeed if you just can't be out there for your guys. It's tough on your franchise. When your ultimate goal is to win and your signal caller just can't stay out on the field for the full season, that's tough. But here's where I've kind of changed my mind with that, man. I'm like, Kyler Murray is 28 years old. He had Cliff Kingsbury for a while. Cliff Kingsbury, however you feel about him, some people ain't really feeling his offense right now. Some people just, they're not feeling it, right? We saw how it worked out with Jayden Daniels. Jayden Daniels gets hurt, second year. Marcus Mariota takes over. A lot of people start talking about Cliff Kingsbury. And then you go from Cliff Kingsbury, and then you go to Jonathan Gannon's coaching staff. You have the OC that just got hired on with the Lions. So it's not like he hasn't had guys play calling. How good you think those guys are, I don't know. You could have a discussion on that. And I'm questioning that myself. I'm like, how good are they? How good are they, right? And that's the thing you got to have back and forth. It's like, okay, well, for Kyler Murray's performance up to this point, how much of it is in the head and how much of it is the coaching staff? How much of it is the coaching staff? And, the one thing when people talk about Kyler, I'm like, okay, clearly, like, these two coaching staffs, I don't feel as if they've had that dog of a leader. And Jonathan Gannon, I thought Jonathan Gannon was obviously better than Cliff Kingsbury. I mean, you see him hit that player, he got fined for it. I'm like, come on, man. I get it. You shouldn't put his hands on players, but I'm like, I feel like Gannon had a little bit of good leadership. I kind of felt like the Arizona Cardinals had a bit of a good thing going. But, okay, Kyler Murray, like I said, he's 28 years old. There's a lot of things on the internet. Kyler Murray, to act like Kyler Murray doesn't see this shit, these players see this shit online. No question about it. So Kyler Murray, man, my belief is, I think a breath of fresh air would do good for him. I really do. People talk about Tua Tagovailoa needing a breath of fresh air. I'm like, I have more faith in Kyler, if I'm being real with you. I have more faith in Kyler going somewhere else and kind of maturing as a quarterback. Like I said, he's still 28, right? Like, he's getting to 30, 31, like he's getting there. But a breath of fresh air somewhere else, I feel like it would do justice for him. I really do. And hold up. I'm not going to act like he hasn't had weapons. I'm not going to act like he has not had weapons with the Arizona Cardinals, because he has Trey McBride right now. They got a couple other decent wide receivers, kind of some underrated guys. And, you know, they traded for Nuke, David Johnson. Like, he's had guys throughout his career. But I'm like, maybe a breath of fresh air would do good for this dude. Honestly. Like, if I'm looking at all the teams right now, and I'm like, the only team, in my opinion, that makes sense is the Atlanta Falcons. And the Atlanta Falcons make a lot of sense for me. They really do. You have Bijan Robinson. You have Drake London. You got Tyler Algier back there backing up Bijan Robinson. Who knows what they'll do at tight end, but they could go out and draft another wide receiver. You know, I don't know what the Atlanta Falcons have in cap space, but you know, you just never know who they could trade for, pick up in free agency, draft. They could add more weapons on that offense. And if you look at that Atlanta offense, a couple stunning victories that they pulled off with Kirk Cousins, along with Michael Penix when Michael Penix was healthy, you can just see the potential on that Atlanta Falcons on their offense. Not even getting to their defense. Their defense has potential too. But we're just talking because they got some dogs on the defense, low key. But we're just talking about the offense right now. That offense has crazy potential, and they can score a lot of points, in my opinion. If they were to add just another wide receiver with the right quarterback, Kyler Murray, Kevin Stefanski, I could see that team possibly being one of the top offenses in the NFL. It wouldn't shock me at all. Like, Kyler going over there for Kevin Stefanski, and I don't know what they do with Michael Penix. I have no idea. Michael Penix is really unproven. You know, he kind of had an up and down right before he got hurt. Overall, I've changed my mind entirely. Dude, I've changed my mind on QB straight up. Like, just call me a player. Like, I've changed my mind on Michael Penix. I hyped him up. Changed my mind on Kyler. You know, there's a couple other QBs, but during the course of a season, things just kind of tend to change with, like, your beliefs and stuff, right? But I don't think Michael Penix is the guy. I understand they drafted him high. Dude out of Washington, not kid. He's a full-grown man. Dude out of Washington. But I just don't think he's the guy. Then you have Kirk back there. And Kirk, I mean, they rattled off a couple victories. Like, they got a couple good dubs with Kirk. Now, Kirk, obviously, if you watch, Kirk can't throw like he used to be able to, right? Like, we're not getting the Kirk from the Minnesota Vikings. We're not getting the Kirk from the Washington Commanders. It's just not there. But he is still smart. He is still smart up here, and you can see it. And I just think in a scenario, I don't know if they would even do this. I don't know what would happen, but like Kirk Cousins going to Arizona with Brissett, and you know, you have two guys in a room like that. I don't really know how they'd feel about that. And I don't know if the Arizona Cardinals are even going to draft a QB or if they're in any position. Just the draft this year with quarterbacks, man, it feels like it's Mendoza or bust. You know what I mean? So, Kirk Cousins, possibly trade him to Arizona. You know, Arizona trade Kyler Murray over to the Atlanta Falcons. Kevin Stefanski gets his guy. You know, and Kevin Stefanski, man, we've seen him with the Cleveland Browns. Now, I have my questions about Kevin Stefanski. I view him kind of high, like some other people, but I'm also like, well, the Cleveland Browns were ass. And it's not like he didn't have a ton of decent QBs come through there. Like, he had guys. The quality of guys, you can decipher through that. Maybe not the best, but I feel like Kevin Stefanski is a little bit, he's proven, but I'm also like, how good of a coach is he? People talk about him as a OC, just a really high knowledgeable guy on offense. I'm like, hey, well, I feel like him going from the Cleveland Browns to the Atlanta Falcons, I feel like this is also a proving moment for Kevin Stefanski. So Kevin Stefanski, let's really show us what you can do, man. Show us what you can do, because this Atlanta Falcons offense has potential. You bring Kyler Murray in there. Kyler Murray is on the, he's 28. He's not far from 30. Like, he's on the second half of his career, and he's also kind of in a position where he's like, it's like, Kyler, go out and prove it. Prove you're the guy. Like, here's the thing with Kyler Murray. There's a lot of potential there. There is. The one thing that's crazy with me with Kyler Murray, I get all the jokes. People talk about him running around looking like a little quarterback and all that. But, Kyler Murray is, he's still fast. He's still fast. The stats may not show up, but he's still damn fast. I swear it was like a year ago? I watched him last year. Year and a half ago? Something like that. What year did he tear his ACL? I'm trying to remember. Maybe it was 2 years ago. I don't know, man. I'm losing my mind. But I remember it wasn't long ago. He was playing the San Francisco 49ers, and he broke off a massive run. And I'm like, dude still has it. Dude still has a cannon arm, right? Maybe the right guy. Maybe him and Stefanski work out. I'm just saying. Give it a shot. Give it a shot. Two guys trying to prove it right now. Two guys on their second chance. Go out and prove it. In the Atlanta Falcons, in the setup they have there with their offense, especially, and their defense, I'm like, this is an Atlanta Falcons team that is ready to win now. I talked about it earlier this year when I was talking about the Atlanta Falcons, hyping them up. Michael Penix. Okay, maybe I feel different about Michael Penix, but the rest of that team, they got mad potential. That team is ready. They're ready to win now. So bringing a quarterback like Kyler Murray with more experience, not Michael Penix, not Kirk Cousins. Trade Kirk Cousins over to the Arizona Cardinals while they figure out what they're doing. Do they even have a head coach? I need to check. Do they even have a head coach? Let me see. Cardinals head coach. I don't think they do. Cardinals head coach. So yeah, they're still trying to figure it out over there. But in Atlanta, they have their guy. I'm like, dude, trade for Kyler. That is a guy with a ton of potential. Kevin Stefanski can work with him, right? I feel like Kevin Stefanski hasn't had a quarterback like that since Baker Mayfield. So go out there and do what to do with the Atlanta Falcons, because I see it. I see it. Maybe I'm crazy. Maybe it's time to give up on Kyler. But I've kind of changed my mind, and I'm like, give him a second chance. Give him a second chance with Kevin Stefanski, who also needs a second chance in Atlanta with a stacked offense, with an offense you can add more pieces to. It's there. Do it. Like, trade for Kyler Murray. I am fully on board with this. Trade for Kyler Murray or figure out a way to get him in the Atlanta Falcons organization. That's the guy.